Hi, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Hey, I hope you guys are excited for today's call. I know that I am because we have some of the top builders that just broke a bunch of new records coming on to share some tips with you guys about why build a team. So, as you guys all know, there's two parts to this business. There's the individual production side, and then there's the team building side. And I really believe that the agent who puts on both hats is going to be the one that gets to just reap everything that this opportunity has in store for them. So you guys are going to get to hear from some ladies that have been doing that and been having great success with it. So make sure you take a bunch of notes. And if you have any questions for them, go to the WhatsApp chat and drop it in there. Want to start off with the verse of the day. Okay, this is probably one of, if not my favorite verses. All right. And how fitting is it for it to be the verse on the very first day of August? It's crazy that July has just flown. I feel like we woke up and it was July 1st, and now all of a sudden it's August. So August 1st, don't worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will bring its own worries. Today's trouble is enough for today. Even back in biblical times, they were like, hey, don't think about tomorrow, right? Today, we got enough going on today to focus on today. But that verse, guys, is so true, right? This is the only August 1st of 2025 that you will ever get. So why not just focus on today? Don't think about next week, your bills that are due at the end of the month, whatever you've got going on in the month of September. Think about today. Think about the day that God's given us, a blessing that we all woke up this morning with air in our lungs, right? And take today for what it's worth. Finish the day knowing that you soaked up every bit of it that you possibly could. And don't let the worries of tomorrow or of the future stress you out, because we serve a great God who, even though you don't know what's going to happen in the future, he does, and he's already got it figured out for you. So that's the verse of the day, guys. But without further ado, I'm going to bring on Becca, Kaylee, we got Kelly, and we've got Taylor coming on. Hopefully this doesn't freeze on us, guys. I'm adding you all to the live feed. So we're going to have a jam-packed call. For those of you guys that don't know these ladies, they are some of the top builders here at FFA. And this year they have just taken off. A lot of team momentum, breaking new records month in and month out. So shout out to you guys. Thanks for jumping on here.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, everyone's hair and makeup looks good. They were picking on me earlier that I didn't send a hair and makeup crew out there, but it looks like Sutton did pretty good. Sutton is our little girl. She loves her makeup. She went out and dolled everybody up for today's call. So
that's what happened.
Awesome. Well, hey guys, real quick, just give everybody a brief intro. Taylor, I'll go to you first. We'll just go down the line. Tell everybody, where you're at, and then what your team is, what your team name is, and all that stuff.
Good morning. I am Taylor. I am the leader of the Bomb Squad. And I don't know what you asked. We've been doing this for, I've been here since 2019. I don't know what you asked, Ryan.
You're good. North Carolina, right?
Yes, North Carolina. We are close to Wilmington, North Carolina. So that is who we are.
Nice. Love it, Taylor. What about you, Kelly?
Hey, I am Kelly LeGrand, and I'm the leader of Southern Impact Team. I've been doing insurance for 6 years now, and I think that was it.
Awesome. Yep. Everyone's in North Carolina except for Becca. She's the only one representing Texas right now. But KZ, what about you?
I'm Kaylee. I'm the leader of Southern Life Agency, a part of Bomb Squad. Taylor is my sister. I guess so many people don't know that, but so many people do. But yes, we are sisters, even though we have different last names. We just married. So yes, I'm also from near the Wilmington area of North Carolina. And I have been doing this since about 2 weeks after my sister started. So I had to take after, follow in her footsteps. So 2019.
That's awesome, Kayla. I'm glad that you said you guys were sisters, because I'm just assuming that everybody knows that. But we have so many new faces at FFA that most people don't. So they are sisters. What about you, Becca? Oh, hey, Becca, you're muted. Your mic's off on you.
Can you hear me?
I got you.
Okay. So I'm Becca. I have Team Rise, and I've been in the insurance industry since like November of 2020, but we've just been with FFA since January. And I am personally in Texas, but I've got agents in Michigan and North Carolina. So I'm in Texas.
It's awesome. I love it, guys. And so for everybody that's tuning in, all four of these ladies have they put on both hats, right? They can write a lot of production on their own pen, but they've really picked up the team building, the recruiting, and really turning this into a business too. So like looking at each one of you, every single one of you, I think, has been agent of the month so far this year, individual, plus on top of that team building. So Taylor, I'm going to go to you first. What would you say to an agent who they want to start recruiting, but they don't know like what is the first step? Because when you got started, you just instantly started recruiting, right? So how do they get started?
So don't think about it. Just if you sit and think about it, it's just going to become a big, huge ball of anxiety and you're not going to get started. So honestly, I didn't really have a choice. Kaylee came on and she brought an agent on, and I didn't even try to do that. That just happened. And then I also had another agent that started with me. So within the first month of working in insurance, I had myself and 3 agents, and I didn't ask for that. I didn't even know that was a thing. So it just started, and I don't know any different. So don't think about it and just get going. And if you don't really know like what to do or how to do it, you've got a whole lot of friends and family. I mean, Kaylee's my sister, you've got a big warm market out there, and somebody's life needs to be changed. This is a life-changing opportunity. It is a huge blessing, and I don't know why in the world anybody would be offended that you come to them and say, hey, my life has changed for the better, and I want to share my experience with you. That's how you do it. That's how you get started, and that's how I continued on. So some of the people that have come and worked with us, they just kind of followed us on social media or whatever it may be. And they were like, you have changed. Your life has changed. That's how I got started. I knew Alicia was not taking all these extravagant vacations on a nurse's salary. I knew that. And I said, after watching her for a year, what are you doing? Because you have changed in good ways. I'm seeing some things that my nurse's salary isn't paying for. So what are you doing differently? And that's really all you got to do is just speak about what you're doing and how it's changing your life and the life of others, not only here as a team, but your clients. Don't forget their testimonies as well. It's a huge selling point to, get your team going. So.
Love that, Taylor. So true too. Like I love how you said it's a life-changing business, life-changing opportunity. I think some agents, when they don't want to start building or they don't know how, they're thinking like, okay, let me go run a bunch of job ads. This is a job. It's a career. And nobody wants to do that, right? Like it's not attractive to anybody to be like, you get paid this much money. Like it's just more about the lifestyle fit. Like you get to set your schedule. You get to, write your own paycheck every single day. It's 2 things right there that most people didn't even know existed for an opportunity, so I love that reply. Kelly, question for you. So this year, like you've just been on a tear, putting people in pre-licensing, training people. I think every single day I go into our agency chat, you're doing another ride along with another new agent. So what's been why do that, right? Why did you decide to build up Southern Impact Agency and just put on that recruiting hat?
So I think I've said this before, but it was really a God thing. It wasn't, I can't take credit for that. He just sent me people, and then I think, like what Taylor said, I'm going to reiterate that. Don't be intimidated by it. Once you get your first agent and you see how their life changes and how they they tell you how their life is changing. Once you hire your first agent and you get them going, then it just becomes addictive. You want to see other people's life change, so initially I let people know what I was doing. That's what I started with. People saw what I was doing on Facebook, social media, things like that. I talked to more people, even, for example, yesterday I was in the field and I knocked on a neighbor door, and it happened to be the wife of a Transamerica agent. I was like, hey, give him my business card. Have him call me. I'm a broker. I can give him lots of options, not just one. So it's constantly talking to people and just letting them know, hey, this is what I do. This is what I can offer you, because people, it's shocking. I've reached out to people and they're like, you would hire me? And I'm like, what do you mean I would hire you? Absolutely. I would hire you. And I would love to, I'd love to walk through this with you. And just letting them know that, like, hey, you're not doing this alone. I'm gonna teach you how to be a business owner. I'm gonna walk you through this. I'm gonna be with you right beside you all along the way, and actually doing it. It's one thing to tell people something, but then actually following through with it. If you follow through with it, if you do your job, if you show them that you care about their success as much as you care about your own, then they're gonna want to also tell other people what's happening in their life. I've had one of my recent agents came from one of my initial agents. She helped recruit her, and it was just off of a post on her Facebook friends list that I didn't know. So it's just, people know people, and the more people that find out what you're doing, it's just kind of dominoes effect.
That's so true, Kelly. I love that you put it that way too. And that's a testimony to you guys. I think you guys are all such great recruiters and coaches and leaders because you genuinely care about the people you bring on. Like,
absolutely.
I know if you guys bring on a new agent, I don't even have to reach out to them because I know you've got it. I know you're making sure that they're getting taken care of, and I know that they're going to win at this. And that's like, not a lot of companies have leaders like that where they just know that you're going to make them successful. Like, I know, Kelly, if you're training somebody, I know they're not going to get lunch, but they're going to make a lot of money that day, right? They're just, you're not stopping for a pee break, no lunch, no food, but they're going to make a lot of money. So, I know that they're going to have fun with that. Kaylee, same question for you. Like, what made you want to build an agency too? Like, I know you, Taylor, got into this, you got into it like right after her, but what made you just put on both hats right away too?
Kind of piggybacking off of what they said, like, it's not that I planned it. It's not that even today, like now when agents come on, it's not like I had any ads out there or posts. I think I've only ever posted like one Facebook post, like back in COVID. I shared a post about people losing their jobs and just said, hey, if this happens to be you, feel free to reach out to me. But it's just, people are watching, people are looking at, what's going on in your life. And then like just how they come to you is just it's just natural. It's not like they're replying to an ad. But, I just, once I got started and, doing this daily and figuring out my routine, I just remember it finally hit me like, why would I not want to teach someone else exactly what I'm doing and duplicate it? I started like, Joe, my husband, he did this for a while, and like, I wanted it so bad for him. I wanted to see the success so much for him. And so I'm like, why wouldn't I do that for others? And then people just started coming, and, once that first, agent and seeing that success, it, like Kelly said, it becomes addicting, and it's like you kind of reliving. Like, I'll be like, have you got your first deposit yet? Like, cause I remember what that moment was like for me, or when that agent hits 10K in a month in deposits. Like, I remember what that moment was like for me. And so it's like reliving it through your agents, because it's just a great feeling. It really is. And just seeing what it can do for them and their families, and, paying off debt, and, getting that vehicle or whatever it is that they've had their goal set for, or they've got this much in their savings now. It's just so fulfilling to hear those things, and like kind of knowing that you were a part of it. But it's just really just, being able to impact so many people that, it helps you out. Yes. As far as being, making overrides, it's not putting a lot of money in the bank, but it's when you have a team of agents, obviously that's, the goal, but it's more so helping them, making a difference for them and their family. So, just really happened natural, and not that I had my vision on that initially, but people just came and I just talked.
Yeah. No, I love that passion that you have for that too. Like talking about, you have a brand new agent, they get their first deposit, how excited they were. I remember how excited I was when I got my first deposit. I think it was $800. And at the time, like back then, when I was working my W-2 job, that's what I would have made in a week. And I made it in an hour. And it was just, it didn't seem real. Like it was, shocking to think that you could go out there and make that kind of money and be able to set your schedule, be able to help people at the same time. It just seemed like a surreal, opportunity. So love that, Kaylee. What about you, Becca? Why build Team Rise?
So I guess I'm kind of like everybody. Whenever I first started, like whenever I came to FFA, it was not my plan. I came for selfish reasons, because I was kind of thinking about me. But again, I'm on social media and they're watching. Whether you think they're watching or not, they are. People are wondering what you're doing and they want information. And sometimes they're just nervous to ask, and so that you just have to keep posting about in the field or training or helping people, because back in the day, I used to have those job ads. I was one of those people. But whenever I would interview people, that's what they would tell me they wanted to do. I just want to help people, right? And so if you get on there and you tell your Facebook world how you help people, right, it's going to intrigue them. They'll want to know. But also, it reminded me of what Taylor said, where she said, what did you say, Taylor? How it's life-changing. Even if you are not on social media now, post. Right? Because you are going to grow. You have to give your social media following something to watch you change. So if you're not big, bad, and bougie, if you're not who you want to be right now, post it anyway. Post it anyway, because you're going to get better. Your social media content is going to get better. You're going to grow as a salesperson. You're going to grow as a leader. And so you have to post anyway, because we all start somewhere. People who don't have insurance, they start without insurance and eventually they get it, right? Like eventually you're going to be a leader and you just have to meet yourself where you are. That's what I did. That's what these ladies obviously did. Minus Taylor, she started with Kaylee kind of, but I'm just kidding. But everybody starts somewhere. And so that's what I would say. Go ahead and post. Do it anyway. Do it scared, do it nervous, do it happy, do it sad. Just do it.
I love that. Love that, Becca. One thing you're great at is the social media posting, like your stories. It was when we were driving to meet a team of agents yesterday, and Alicia was on her phone, and I heard something playing in the background, and it was this voice, like it was talking about a Bible verse and then how it translates to work. I'm like, dang, that's a really good video. And then I look over and it's your video on your story. I'm like, dang, I didn't even realize that was Becca talking. That sounded awesome. So Becca, same question. Okay. Question for you. Like, what do you post about? Right. Like, so a lot of agents, they're not even on social media. Maybe they want to get started with it. They don't even know like the first thing about like, what should I video myself doing? So what tips would you give for them? Like, what should their social media roadmap look like in a week?
Are you talking for like new agents, like trying to sell or hire? So like,
yeah, like anyone trying to like attract people to come work with them. So new agents, experienced.
So I always love, I wish Dylan would be better about it, but he's always taking pictures with his client. He'll post them in the WhatsApp. He's always taking pictures with his client. And I think a picture of that and how you helped that person, whether you bundled and saved or got them out of a waiting period or got more coverage, whatever you did, posting the situation and not just you with the client, I think is helpful. Or even doing a video. I'm not bold enough to do that. I'm kind of nervous to do that. But if you're brave to take a video of doing that, or sometimes if you go out to lunch, take a picture of you lunch out and about somewhere. Or if you, sometimes there's days where I take off early because I've had a good day and I reward myself. So like I'll take a picture of me and Mila at like 3:00 at home already because I've had a good day. So you want to highlight the freedom proof of you having your own schedule, not just say, hey, I got to make my own schedule. You've got to show them. I don't really like showing deposits, to each their own on that, but I don't really like doing that. But just freedom, happy, and proof that you're actually working. It's not just a scam of you out there helping seniors, like show them proof that what we do is a legit way to make money. Because sometimes people don't believe it. So that's what I would do.
That's one thing about your post too. Oh yeah, go ahead, Taylor, go.
What Becca's talking about with the like showing proof and deposit. So I don't like that either, Becca. I don't know, but to each his own. So Kaylee and I were sitting together one morning. It was a Monday morning. And back then I wasn't checking my bank account daily. I check my bank account daily because we get paid daily now. Back then it was just sad to look at it every day. Right. And Kaylee and I are sitting together, and it was the very first deposit that I ever made. And it was a $1,200 Transamerica deposit. And that day, Kaylee went home, and that's the day that Kaylee decided she wanted to do this too. So, no, I will not.
Money. She's like, all right.
I'll prove. Yeah, exactly. And so what Becca's saying is 1,000% right. No, I will not be posting my bank account on social media or whatever. But Kaylee needed, and I wasn't even trying. I was just so ecstatic. Like I could not wait to get out of this classroom to go sell another policy because the classroom wasn't doing anything for me. And I was excited about it. And Kaylee like vibed through that. And she was like, whoa. And then here she comes, and she's brought on an agent with her. So 1,000% what Becca is saying about prove it. Prove what you're selling yourself about. Prove that. I love that, Becca. Sorry for the interruption, but that was great.
No, I'm glad you came on and said that, Taylor. It's so true, guys. Like if you see some like MLM related companies, right, where it's like, oh, this is what we do. It's so great. But then when you're trying to figure out like what do they actually do, nobody will tell you, and it just seems like fluff. But one thing I love about how you guys post is you actually share the goods of the industry, but then you also, I've seen you guys make posts of also when it's hard, like maybe you had an agent on your team who struggled one week and then the next week they went out there and had a huge week. So I think being transparent to people, that's what people want. It's just like when you're selling the insurance, people want to know that nothing is perfect, right? There's goods to it. There's bads to it. But if you're transparent and people can relate to that, it makes them want to jump in and lock arms with you and run for sure. So Kelly, question for you. Let's say, you're very good at presenting the opportunity, getting people through like the pre-licensing course and then doing the training. But how do you manage that with also your individual sales? And then also, right, you're a mom, you're a wife, you've got like the home front to manage. So how do you do all of that in a given day?
I have grown into that. It has been an adjustment. I'm not going to sit here and lie. You're talking about transparent. Like that's just, I definitely believe in being transparent, and it's not been easy, but I feel like God has just given me what I needed to get through it. And I've just grown into being a leader, and I love it. And it's just became a passion of mine, not just a job. And it's not even stressful anymore. It's just, I just do it, and it brings me joy to be able to help my team. If my agent's in a house, I try to remember what it was like when I first started and how stressful that was. Like, I don't want to sit there and I don't want to make them sit there and wait on me to help them. You know what I mean? So, as far as just managing and balancing it all out, I've just grown into it. It's just something that you just grow into.
Yeah, I love that. That's one thing about all four of you guys is you're present leaders. So like what I mean is like the minute one of your agents texts for something, like they're in a house they need help with, whatever it is, like generally within 1 minute you reply to them, right? It's almost like they might not realize it. They probably think that you're like sitting there just waiting for something to pop up on your phone. But like that's not it. Like you're selling, you're managing this, you're doing that, you're taking kids here at night, but yet you're still present. So it's something that you just have to grow into, you know, like you said, Kelly.
Yeah.
Kelly, question for you.
I'm sorry.
Oh
Sometimes,
no, go ahead. Yeah.
sometimes when I'm even in a house with a client, I think it's okay to be transparent with your clients too and say, hey, listen, I have agents that work with me and they need my help real quick. Give me 1 second. And if I've already connected and I'm with the presentation with them and I've built that trust and that connection with them, they're okay with being like, hey, because they're retired. They're not in a hurry. They're just sitting there hanging out, So, and it's okay for them to see that you're busy with your career too, and that way when they text you or call you and you can't answer immediately, they know, oh, Kelly's busy. Like she's, she's wearing a lot of hats, right? You be transparent with them too. So I don't know.
That's a great tip. I'm glad you mentioned that, right? Because I remember when I'd be in a house, right, with a current client and then an agent needed help, I used to kind of feel like, oh man, I can't really answer the call. This, the client I'm with is going to get mad. But then I'm like, I'm just going to answer it anyway. So I'd answer the call. I'd say, hey, Miss Betty, I got to help this agent that works with us real quick. Let's see if we could help me out here. All right. You take my iPad. We'll take some notes together and I'll do the call to close on speaker inside the house with the client. And honestly, that made it easier to sell the client I was with because they were like, Ryan knows what he's doing, so it builds that credibility for sure. So that's a good tip for builders and coaches who are like, oh, I just don't have the time to help people and sell. You really do. You just incorporate it all together. So Kaylee, question for you. One thing that you are phenomenal at is tracking, like being goal oriented, having your team's numbers, like what your team's production is for the month before we even pull the report. Like you just have it all locked down. How do you juggle that? Like, how do you stay organized with your team? And what's a tip maybe that you'd have for an agent or a builder that it wants to be more like numbers goal oriented?
Yes, I'm very OCD and like numbers driven for personal and for team. But, like every Sunday I'm sending out like a message in our WhatsApp group saying, I want schedules, like what's your goal for the week? But then also at the end of the week or really halfway through the week, asking for like halftime numbers and stuff. But at the end of the week, let me know when your trackers are updated so we can get our numbers sent in. And if I don't, get a thumbs up or a text or anything, like I'm sending a text. So everybody probably thinks I harass them, but it's important. These numbers are important. They're not just like, if you don't communicate with your coach, if you're not, being held accountable for sending those numbers in, like, then they're not focused on their goals, right? That's how I look at it. Like if you're not saying, oh, okay, here's my numbers for the week, or, last week was rough for me. I had this going on. I worked one day, blah, blah, blah. Here's this, but I'm going to hit this next week. Like, I think that's important to communicate with your coach, because if you're like, oh, I struck out all last week, and I'm like, well, let's talk about that. Have you filled out your tracker? That's another thing I try to stay, on top of is the tracker. It's there for a reason. So use it. It is there for the door approaches, the presentations, like where are you needing help? Without filling that out, I can't really help you unless we have like a 30-minute conversation about how your week was. How did this day go? This day, did you get into any doors? But that tracker, it sums it up for us. So that's there for a reason. And but I mean, I kind of just hammer everybody about filling those out, getting numbers sent in. And, I have a spreadsheet for like submitted numbers. I have a spreadsheet for net numbers for like myself and my team. So
that's key. I love like the accountability section, right? I think that's what separates like an okay leader from a great one. Is the great one isn't afraid to say, hey, it's Sunday. You were supposed to send your numbers in last night. Where are they at? and holding people accountable. Because sometimes I guess the blessing of this business is you have a lot of freedom, right? But the curse is sometimes that freedom gets people a little bit lazy. And then before they know it, they're not hitting their goals. They're not hitting it. And they really need that coach to guide them in the right direction, right? I think that's the reason a lot of agents struggle, not necessarily here, but in this industry, is because they don't have that person that is actually taking them from point A to point B. And if they have that person, they're going to get to the level of success, that you guys have. So what's a closing tip you guys have as we wrap up the call? This call flew by, but what's a closing tip you have for everybody, Taylor, that maybe wants to jump in and start building an agency?
Communication. That is my biggest tip for any and everything about growth here. You need to be communicating with your team. Your team needs to be communicating with you. You need to be communicating with your coach if you're having a hard time building and it's not working out for you, or you're nervous about it, or just have conversations about this. Conversations help so much with growth. It's just insane. That I'll just stop there because I could go on and on, but communication.
Love that tip. That's a good one, Taylor. What about you, Becca?
I maybe have a few. So I think communication is great. What was I gonna say? If you're not reading or listening to any type of leadership, anything, I would start there, like with audiobooks, or I know there's like shorts on YouTube. Just get started somewhere. Podcast, John Maxwell, highly recommend anything that he writes or any of his podcasts. I think it's great. And then also whatever I did whenever I got started is with FFA, at least, I asked Alicia to go through my Facebook. I was like, what should I do? What should I not do? What should I get rid of? And if you don't know where to start, go back to that communication that Taylor's saying and get advice. See what they say about your social media and get a game plan. So yeah, those are my two.
Love those tips. Those are awesome ones, Becca. What about you, Kelly?
I would just say, don't be afraid. Don't hold yourself back. The only thing standing in front of you growing and building is yourself. That's it. You can do it. If you're here, you've got the capability to do anything you want to do. And you've got leaders standing behind you that are going to help you along the way. You're not going to be by yourself. Alicia and Ryan help me daily, and I'm so grateful for them, because without them, they're my backbone. When I can't get to my agents, they help me. So you're not going to be by yourself doing this. You've got a whole team helping you, and you're selling yourself short if you're not building and growing, because that's what this is all about. And, it's given me so much fulfillment and just so much more drive now that I'm building a team, because I want to lead from the front. I want them to see me. I'm not just telling them to go to work. I'm going to go to work myself. I'm not telling them to go do something that I'm not going to do. So just don't be afraid. You could bless so many people's lives by getting them on your, getting them involved in insurance and, helping them, their legacies change just by hiring them and teaching them to do your job. That's it. That's all you have to do.
Amen to that. Love that one, Kelly. What about you, KZ?
I would say, when you do start building and step into that leadership role, don't forget about yourself. Don't forget to remain coachable yourself, and to turn to your coaches. I can say from experience, for me, I turned away from myself before. And so I had all my attention on agents. It gets, it's easy to get kind of wrapped up in others, where you turn away from yourself and your individual, what you need to be doing, your goals that, for your individual side of it, but also like turning to your coaches when you need them. So like you have to still remain coachable and letting your coaches hold you accountable, turning to them when you need their help. And so just try to remember that when you do start building, that you're still in that role as agent to your direct coach, right? Or your coaches, as well as a leader to your agents. So just keep that in mind and have it be a good balance, because, you always want to put yourself first, as selfish as that sounds, but you know, it makes it healthy and good. So
that's a great tip there, because you can't really take care of others if you're not taking care of yourself first, right? So love that one, Kaylee. Guys, super appreciative of all of you for coming on the call. I know I didn't give you much heads up. I didn't even tell you to prepare. I'm like, we're just coming on here and talking. So, but super proud of you guys. I love seeing the momentum on each one of your teams, and I could not be more excited to see where you guys are taking your teams at. So thank you guys for jumping on here. That's all we got for you guys. Let's go crush today, and we will be back here on Monday. Thanks, guys.
Bye, y'all.